basically pay, I don't know what they do, they go into jumpsuit bodies, okay, jumpsuit bodies, where they can go in, get buck wild, drop it like it's hot, drink, smoke, do weed, do coke, all that stuff, and then they jump back out. So you have jumpsuit bodies here where people just come from the outside to engage in the carnal perversions that we have in this simulation. Okay, so that being said, right now the end of the program is happening. There isn't a lot of data, so you're going to see a lot of glitches. Okay, then you're going to be playing out the end time simulation, because this is this purposeful simulation is the Earth simulation. So you're going to go through the whole rapture thing, all these kind of simulated, it's like a video game. This is Earth simulation video game. So you're going to have the whole end time frequency kind of end time program playing out. The religious war, the holy war, everybody believes that everything. Let me explain something, y'all. One thing that I will tell you, and this is my recommendation for you, okay, you shouldn't take any sides, because when you take a side, you get karma. Okay, I personally, this is how I feel during this whole end time thing. I love who I love. So I have my homegirl who's living in Israel. I love her and her family. That's it. I don't support nothing they do over there. I don't have nothing to do with the government. If you got something to do with the government, that's on you. But like I said, as far as voting, supporting a government, supporting things that people do, I won't take on that karma. But I love my girlfriend. I love her family. That's who I support. When any Palestinians, I love the people I know that I love, and I love them and their families. That's all I support. I don't support any governmental systems. I am a political atheist, just like I'm a simulation atheist. I don't have any legs. I don't have any feet in this race. Okay? And if you want to stay out of it, you need to stop all that protesting and all that stuff. First of all, when you support one side, you support what goes along with the shenanigans of what they do to the other side. And if you support the other side, you're going to go along with karmic debt that goes along with the other side. So if one side is going around killing people, killing children, killing people, and you support that political system, then you're going to take on the karmic debt with that. Same with the other side. Mind your business. Unless you live there, you know that life, you're about that life, it shouldn't be your business. And if you're going to support a system, why would you support something only because it's generated on social media? How come you didn't support the Palestinians before this happened? How come you didn't support, because really in itself, how come Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Egypt were denying entry of these poor Palestinians before? So if it wasn't about a social economic BS, how come those beautiful, rich, wealthy Arab nations weren't taking these poor, innocent Palestinians before and letting them in? Because it's all cap. Do you understand? It's all a setup. Support, love people, be empathetic, and give empathy to anyone who's innocent, who is experiencing really a lot of strife. But remember, anything that happens, if these are people that are real, they gonna come back in the same situation of the same things that they're doing to the other side. Mind your business, unless that's your house, because I don't see anybody going over Haiti talking about why the U.S. is in there, and they got a whole freaking they have a whole embassy robbing, stealing gold over in Haiti, displacing people, killed, murdered their whole prime minister with a whole mercenary crew that was American and Colombian. I don't see y'all going and protesting for the Haitians, or the destabilization of the Haitians that they're doing over there. How come you didn't do that? Where's your protest for them? Because that happened before this, right? How come you're not going over to the Congo talking about why they're doing genocide to the people over there? How come you're not doing that? Oh, because maybe they're not the complexion of protection? I'm just saying, so if you're about that life, how come you only do it when it's being generated on social media? That's why I say a lot of people are suffering under social engineering, Stockholm syndrome. They only support that which is being promoted to them. I love children and families. You understand? So I don't need to be engaged in anything. And first of all, I don't even live over there. It's not my business. How do I even know that's real? The people who live there, that's the people who have a stake in this. That's who's engaging in this. So this is a simulation, y'all. Be careful what you support and what you're trying to put your foot into, because what you may do is add a bit of karmic residue or a simulation residue that comes over to you and yours. Unless you bowdy, you should support everything, because you'll only see people support people who look a certain way. Okay? Because you didn't say nothing when they were sterilizing the Ethiopians. Nobody said anything about that, right? When our homegirl on Zoom was telling us what they were doing to Ethiopian women, you didn't support that. How come you didn't protest for that? And please don't believe BLM is real. BLM, what's that other group? BLM, Antifa. Those are all governmental setup systems. You know that, right? They're all fake. The actual creators of BLM were all hung and killed. And then some lesbian women took over, dropping it like it's hot, having parties with the money from BLM. And now I don't even know who's running BLM. Well, stop. You know, if you want to, that's cool. But just don't get mad when you PSYOPs, thank you. Don't get mad when you start getting residue overcoming to you, because now you are progenerating a karmic residue that's going to come to you. If you want to support Israel, Palestine, Africa, whatever you want to support, if you want to support it, go ahead. But just know what's going to come to you, because you're going to be bringing it. That's why you won't see me support the holographic president, the one who put his hand on the satanic Babel, that didn't have an inauguration. Why wouldn't I vote? Because if you vote for one, then you may take the residue on whatever that being does, because they aren't doing everything in front of you. They do things behind your back. Okay? So if you want to support people, absolutely. And if you are from anywhere in those regions, you have more of a say of what goes over there, and absolutely you should, if that's what you deem to be. But I'm over here. I support families, women, mothers, and children that are innocent. And also, I also understand that if you're engaging or experiencing these things, you have accrued the kind of frequency that needs you to engage or to experience these things. There aren't any victims here. So if you're living in a world of tyranny, that's why I explained to you before. Big up to Ali Bey. I was on a show years ago. I explained before, all these men that were being shot, all these brown men being shot like dogs on the street, these brown men, you don't know that probably they were the same racist lunars in an incarnation. So the lunars who are nasty bastards get reincarnated in Negro hoods, and they get hunted by the very beings that they used to be. So be careful taking a position, because you don't know what someone accrued karmically in another incarnation. This is a simulation, y'all. It's all an energy thing. It's all about the frequencies. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell you to check the mic. Always check the mic. Basically, do a check around you. If you're existing in a comfortable world where people are supportive and loving around you, that speaks volumes of who you are internally, because it's all an energetic thing. In a simulation, you progenerate your entire environment. So whatever you are, you basically basically are projecting that on the outside. Okay? So if you are a really kind person, you really live well with integrity, you are doing things that are in honor of your ancestors, your family, your children, your husband, yourself, your mother, if you're living in alignment, everything around you should show up cohesive. If you have any pushback or anything that's challenging, you have to work on self. Remember we talked about this? When you check the mic? Remember I said, if my hair is messy, right? If my hair is messy, do I fix this? Do I fix the screen with my image, the mirror? Or do I fix my hair and then my hair shows up fixed on my reflection? So you're not going to fix something outside of yourself and expect it to fix you. You fix you. You work on you. You deal with you. Because everything is, if you accept that this is a simulation, everything is a projection of who and what you are. And you are projecting your whole reality. So if you're having pushback, you having people doing grimy things to you, you got to really check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay? Do some reflective work. Remember Michael Jackson said, I'm looking for the man in the mirror. I can't sing, y'all. I'm seeing if he changed his ways. Remember? And no message can be any clearer. Because if you want to make a change, you got to look at yourself and make the change. Right? Okay. Remember that? So you got to do that. So right now we're in reset, y'all. I know I can't sing, y'all. There's certain things I can't do, okay? All right. So if you're struggling with anything right now, it's reset time. I mean, it's the finals. I mean, if you didn't get it now, you just gonna be recycled in the triple loop. Okay, you're gonna come back in a simulation at the beginning, and I don't think it's gonna be simulation Earth. It'll probably be simulation Mars, where it's like warlike. Because if you don't get it now and you just a warlike being, you're gonna come back in another simulated reality where you're going to go through the loop 110 three times, 110 years 3 times, and you're going to have to learn it that way. Okay, this is a simulation. The simulation is ending. The data is very limited. The NPCs are leaving, so they're replacing people with cyborgs, so you don't know that there's empty space, right? And because you are existing in that way and your world is about to phase out, everything, all that you've known, anything that had any reminiscent, anything that gives you like feelings of nostalgia will leave, because they need you to reset. They got to reset your mind too, because in order for you to go back into the other world, you're going to have to forget everything that was here. When the other reset happens, if you survive, which I don't know who will and who won't, because the pole shift is something else. If you aren't extracted and wake up in your pod, and you go through the actual pole shift, which is going to be traumatic, horrific, just traumatizing. It's meant to wake people up. You will then go into the new world, and they aren't going to have. That's why you're seeing hieroglyphs on all of the pyramids, all the Mayan temples, because they do that. They need pictorials because they change your language. And then you got a rogue group of like satanic, like dark Kabbalists that hijack the system. So they know they got to go hiding under the ground during this reset time, because they got their own fresh bodies, they clone bodies, they make their own bioborgs, and they wait until after the whole pole shift, and then they resurface and they kind of progenerate the world that they want. And they're going to choose different languages. They're going to create a whole nother language. They're gonna they're gonna create different languages that aren't reminiscent of languages that we remember. So you're actually lost again. So you're actually suffering from a form of amnesia. Amnesia. So you won't remember anything. So it's important for you, if you want to keep some records here after reset, if you want to dig them in a hole and just put pictures on it, that's the only thing that they'll remember. Most of the language will be pictorial, because that's the only way that our brain will pick it up. Okay, if it's language, they're going to make up their own form of languages next reset. Okay, so right now, big up to everybody who's in the house. Thank you for joining me on this conversation. Please put a handy dandy like in the video if you like this conversation and you like coming in the room and we enjoy this. So now the NPCs are the reset is upon us, the pole shift. So the fake holy war. There's nothing holy about the war, y'all. These bastards will make anything up, okay? They set everything up. Everything's a lie. It's all made up. It's the same person at the top. It's the Knight Templars. It's the Moors. It's the Jesuits. It's all the same. The Zionists. They're all the same. It's not even a lot of them either, because it's not a lot of them are living. They're working with the AI system, so they've learned how to manipulate and create the results of agendas that they want at this time. Okay, they get off. That's why they're sick. They've been here too many times. They're like vampires. They're like lifetime loopers. So they get off when people get hurt, children getting hurt, and they feed off of that loosh. You know what I mean? So, the children, protect your children too, y'all. We need to protect all of our children. If you love your children right now, you shouldn't have them on social media like that. You should be careful about the people around them, because they're basically collecting bodies for food and storing them below, because they're going to be under the ground for a while. So just be careful with your children. Talk to your young ladies. Talk about the necessities of them watching themselves, making sure they aren't having sex with bioborgs, because they can really, their wands can literally deactivate their wombs. So if you have sex with a bioborg, his wand is activated to deactivate your womb. Okay, so wands matter. Real wands matter. He'll put that sucker in there like a plug, and he'll deactivate your womb. So then you start not getting your period. You start having all kinds of issues down there. What real wands matter? Sea stars. Okay? Check the wand. I would check it put a metal detector on that sucker. Wait, take the children out of here. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, y'all. Where's my water? I apologize. Please put a like on the video. Listen, my sense of humor is very different. Okay, I apologize. I go left, and you know, I just keep it real. You go and get the real from me, okay? I could edit my videos like 90% of people. I could do a whole makeup tutorial, a hair tutorial, but I prefer to just keep it real, okay? And please, for you, listen, I gotta just comment on that because you know I'm petty. I'm a little petty because I like to engage. I love when people poke a little bit because it just gives me a chance to talk about things that I won't get a chance to talk about. I'm just going to sidebar for a minute. For anyone talking about me not being a non-native, where do you come from? Like, it's amazing to me that $5 Indians, people whose families came here and colonized the country, who don't even look native, have like 0.00000 point of native indigenous blood in them. That's why they're not thick. Big up to Alex who mentioned that. Like, you don't realize a lot of natives, because our endocrine system has been attacked, most native people bulk up because we're fed like GMO foods. We're not eating the same food. There's people coming on here talking about you're not native. Who are you? First of all, you're not even from the Americas. How you gonna call me not native and my peoples has been here since the Americas were created? This is crazy to me. You $5 Indians are getting a little reckless out here. You don't want me to bring the archives, right? Because remember, I'm over 65% pure native indigenous Carib, right? With a nice little dash of Taino. How dare you? It's like a joke. Like you walk around not even looking native. What about you is native? That's why the indigenous don't even come to you in spirit. That's why the ancestors underneath the ground don't even contact you. That's why you can't walk into the other side because you aren't native. You are the colonizers that paid for the nationality. And then you think that the natives don't recognize that. That's why you can't recognize me because you're not from the neighborhood. You from another neighborhood. Stop it already. Don't come on my channel talking about you're indigenous, because if you're indigenous, you would already know who I am and where I come from. The fact that you can't even recognize another indigenous lets me know you're not from here. Cut it out already. Go to another channel where they pretend like they're native. You know what I'm saying? They pretend like they're native and then they go to church every Sunday. Go to their channel. You know what I'm saying? When they walk around calling themselves Blue Owl and looking like nothing like an owl, looking nothing like the indigenous. Stop it already. I'm a little petty. I'm just sick and tired of you fake $5 Indians coming over here capping. Okay? You can get away with that with people who aren't native, but when you come to a native woman, remember, all tribes recognize me. My whole life. Every nation recognizes who I am. Do they recognize you, or did you have to pay? Or are you one of the hijackers who stay head of the tribes to make sure that you control and do everything? And also, I'm sick of you $5 Indians because you're the ones paying for the natives to leave the country. You're the ones setting them up. That's why everybody's an alcoholic on the whole reservation. They're alcoholics, they're drug addicts, they're suffering from mental illness because of you. Stop it. You need to come for somebody else, okay? Don't play with me, because remember, I know what I'm in and what kind of simulation. You don't want to poke the bear too much, okay? Because I know this is a simulation, and because I know it's a simulation, I can work with the simulation. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Go to another channel with the fake channelers. Go with their, oh my God, my name is White Owl. I feel the energies. You're so full of it. And you're the reason why you're going through the simulation. It's a recolonization. So really in itself, I'm unconcerned. I'm actually just gonna watch from the position of an observer, because there's a recolonization happening in the United States. So those who are the ancestors of the colonizers are now experiencing colonization because it's an energy. Okay, cut it out. Okay, go do something. Go play. Go play native. Go play Indian. Oh, go play Indian. Okay, stop it already. My ancestors don't even know who you are. When I go into Dreamscape, a real native has access to the port. They have access to the veil, beyond the veil. A lot of you just find, and then you don't even know you're $5 Indians, and then you come over here and capping on us saying you from Africa. How would you know? How would you know? Okay? And shame on you. Our beautiful Africans don't need you to add another additive to them. Our beautiful Africans have many beautiful nations and many beautiful people who have many wonderful traditions, as we did in the Americas. But do know there were brown people all over the planet before you colonized it. Okay, so stop it already. Okay, there were brown indigenous here in the Americas, brown indigenous in the Polynesian islands, there were brown indigenous in Europe, there were brown indigenous in Asia. Stop it. The reason you don't know is because probably you're some sort of like cyborg or a hybrid of some sort, and you've been created like a Cabbage Patch child, and you don't even know who's native because you're not native to anything. Cut it out. I'm sorry. Let me apologize, y'all. I apologize. I just went on a rant. I apologize. I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feeling. I just sometimes get a little petty because they come to my channel and they just poke me. And I just really have to realize they're just ignorant. And, I should just leave them alone. Leave me alone. When you look in the book of the indigenous, I look exactly the same way. Leave me alone. Okay? Cabbage Patch Kitties. Oh, thank you for the donation, Joseph. Your wand. Joseph's talking about his wand. How come I can't say, hold on? My wine hasn't been near her magic box in over 2 years. Oh, ever since, hold on. Ever since she got I'm sorry, Joseph. I don't want to get the MRA and from her cookie on my, Joseph, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me behave myself. I'm sorry, Joseph. Thank you for the donation, Joseph. I agree with you, Joseph. I know a lot of sea stars who aren't vaxxed. Just FYI. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to break down a home. I'm just saying, just relieve yourself from, let me go on, y'all. I'm getting in trouble. Oh. Real wands matter. Yeah, I would, if you got vaxxed, that's your choice. That's fine. But I'm just saying, if you aren't, and I'm not saying anything bad about vaccines matter. Because, YouTube, they always say like misinformation. I didn't say anything about vaccines, YouTube. I'm just mentioning the word vax. If you decide that you'd like to engage with someone who hasn't participated in the experimental bioweaponry that you call the Cucaracha kill shot, there are a lot of beautiful sea stars who are quite clean and clear in my neck of the woods. I'm just saying, if you're conscious, they're conscious. If you're aware, they're aware. Yeah. Oh, pre-Sultan. Oh, Fleur, what happens when you have a child with an NPC? Is it possible? No, you can't have a child. In my awareness, there isn't any way you can have a child with NPC unless you're NPC. NPC, it's like me walking in a holodeck. I give you an example, like me walking in the holodeck and they're holographic beings. Even if I had sex with it, really good sex, really interesting sex, I wouldn't be able to birth a child because they aren't real. Okay? If you are real and they're real, you can give birth to real beings. If they aren't real, if they're real, and you produce a real child, a full child, that's a true child. That's a true child. But NPCs aren't able to have children with organic soul beings, as far as I know, unless they did something like remember that movie? What is it called? Demon Seed. Oh, that's a good one. Y'all get that movie. Watch Demon Seed. It's an old freaky movie. I like the old ones from I think it was from the 70s or 80s, right? Watch that movie. Maybe, you know what I mean? That'll be interesting. Okay. Sun stars. Let me talk to our sun stars, because I really think, a lot of you are becoming much more aware and much more becoming a much more Like you're taking responsibility, and I honor that. I'm so pleased to see this in a simulation because I really thought y'all were lost in the sauce. Like especially with the whole fake brown community, with the whole fake consciousness, talking about they wanted to have multiple women when they could barely satisfy one. Like they were talking about they wanted to be polygamous, but they basically had women that were starving for affection and love and connectivity. Like that community is all falling apart. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you. I appreciate that. They're all falling apart. So I'm grateful that you sun stars are waking up to your divinity and to your responsibility and coming and becoming more self-efficient, resisting the BBLs and the snuffleupagus eyelashes and the makeup tutorials, and you resisting it. I really appreciate that. I think you are starting to know that you are special and you want to be with someone who has that same amount of integrity. And that's a beautiful thing. So even the sun star is saying he'd like to be with someone who has good decision making, who wouldn't engage with something that would change their genetics and ruin them for anything. Hey, walk with the ancestors. Hey, C-Star, how you doing? Miss Dean. So I'm grateful, sun stars, that you're doing that. I think it's beautiful. I support your healthy journey and your taking self, what is it called? Like when you, taking responsibility for what you do. It's beautiful. And there's a lot of beautiful sea stars that are healthy. They steam their yoni. They aren't sleeping with wands of mass destruction. They actually honor. They have self-preservation. So maybe when you start changing yourself, you start emitting this frequency in your pheromones, so you attract those beautiful young sea stars, because I know them. There's a lot of them. They're so beautiful. Self-preservation. Thank you, Deborah Zimmerman. Thank you, Deborah. Okay. There's a lot of beautiful sun stars and sea stars now. I'm starting to see you. It's beautiful. Jesse, stop saying you need some milk. That's being disrespectful. Listen, there isn't anything wrong with about a woman who's lactating. Okay. Stop breast shaming. Okay. You're going to have me go on another rampage. Let me explain something, y'all. If you haven't seen a really organic woman with real breasts, I don't know what planet you're living on. Maybe you're a simulation. Women have breasts, and our breasts are meant to feed our babies, right? Milk shaming is disgusting. Why don't you say, well, God darn it, Fleur Brun is an organic woman who has a lactating breast, who loves her babies, who loves children. What's wrong with you? Like, I don't even know what planet you're coming with. What, are you hanging around with girls who don't breastfeed their children? Like, really? Come on now, like, stop it already. Some of you actually should have women. Maybe you don't have women in maybe your mother didn't breastfeed you. That could be the issue, right? It's very sad. It's women too. It's like, what is wrong? I don't even show my nipples. What is wrong with these people? I haven't ever shown, I'm busty. And there's anything wrong with that. I've been pregnant before. I've had milk in my breast. What is wrong with that? Like, I think that is so real. You would prefer to get with a woman who has a whole fake butt, who goes and has people stick rods in her behind, puts all kinds of fat and artificial intelligence in her butt. You don't even know she's like got zoom lens in her behind, like in her anal cavity. Like, you don't even know. You would prefer to have a woman do things like that, or can't even come on without having a face full of makeup. But a woman who's just sitting here organically doesn't even show her nipples, because my breasts are just bigger. If a woman was smaller, you would just see less cleavage. But I'm not showing a nipple. When I start showing you my nipple, then having a complaint. I'm sorry, y'all. Real breasts matter. Breast milk matters. My God. We're so involved in artificial intelligence that you just would demonize a real organic woman and preference. You got these women who you don't even know who they are, and when you wake up, you shocked. Like, who are you? She's like, hey, my name is Dan. You don't even know. You would sleep with a woman that's a man because you don't even know the difference between a real woman and not. Shame on you. Big up to all the breastfeeding mothers in the house. You are, let me tell you how beautiful you are, you wonderful beings. You are so wonderful. Living in a time where women would prefer to give milk from a can that's called formula from a diabolical mad scientist that had worms all in the formula. Let me give a shout out to you, breastfeeding beautiful mommies. You're so amazing. I am so happy to know you and know that you decided to take your biological imperative of being able to produce healthy, organic, heirloom milk and feed your beautiful babies. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think I would encourage you to, and to share that with other women and tell them how fabulous your children will be healthy, how they won't have ear infections, they won't be fed by the diabolical demons that are making formula with all kinds of metals and worms and parasites and all kinds of low frequency dairy products from a cow that's not meant to feed a child. I give you honor, breastfeeding mothers. Keep it up. Keep it up. And don't let anyone, let me be your example. Let your breasts be free and be happy to be as you are. Whether they're little, big, small, whatever. Real breasts matter. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to go off because come on now. And gentlemen, stop it, okay? Just be grateful that you have a woman who talks on here, who doesn't decide to change and alter her body. I could be taking, what is that called? Ozempic? I could be taking Ozempic, all sucked in, dehydrated, skinny, looking like the bomb, looking like I got 50 BBLs, but I decide to just come organic and be the weight that I'm supposed to be, have my body in the same form. Just, it is what it is, okay? If you can get in with an Ozempic woman, go ahead and get with her, okay? Her liver's gonna fall out in like about 60 days, but if that's what you want, it is what it is. All right, let me stop, y'all. I'm being petty. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. I just, sometimes I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. That wasn't very nice. Please don't tell my mother that. I didn't mean to do that. No, I'm sorry. It's not very nice. It's not very nice. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. Okay? Okay? I'm sorry. Okay? I'm gonna go run a lap after this. I apologize. Okay, so let's go into the NPCs and the reality changing. We're about to go through a pole shift. We got a fake religious war going on underway right now. Do know that if you are trying to stay out of this whole projected false war, please know that there's certain things you have to do. You have to remain neutral and 0 point to make sure you aren't taking any karmic debt. I probably offended like 40 people in here. I'm sorry. You have to remain neutral and 0 point. You have to make sure that you are staying in your frequency that's of a higher level, because remember, anytime you're in a simulated world, you generate an energy. You basically are projecting energy out here. So that energy will also attract what that is to you. So if you're constantly talking about low frequency things, you're constantly taking a strong stance in something that's warlike, or talking about murders, or watching children that are being hurt on television, you're pulling yourself into that frequency, and you're basically triggering, you're bouncing that back at you. It's very important for you to stay neutral in this simulation. 0 point is where you want to be, because if you go too far right or left, it's like a pendulum. If you go too far right, what happens on a pendulum? You go too far right, the swing is hard to the left, right? So the same as if you go too far left, the swing will be harder. But if you stay somewhere in the neutral position, it's okay to observe and have a level of compassion. There isn't any way that I would say to you that if you could see something that's hurtful to a child or hurts a person, that you shouldn't have some level of compassion or concern for that. It's like, if I see any child, it doesn't matter if the child is lunar, light with blue eyes, it doesn't matter if the child has red hair, blonde hair, it doesn't matter if the child has beautiful dark skin, it doesn't matter if the child looks shorter, tall, that child, if I see them in front of me and they're being harmed, I'm going to protect them. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter if they're a simulated child, doesn't matter if they're an organic child, I don't care if they're a cyborg child. If I see a child that's being harmed in front of me, it is my imperative directive as a female, as a mother, to protect that child. That's just me. So that in itself, that's where I almost feel like in the simulation, in the video game, if you're presented with something like that, it means for you to engage. Like if you play a video game, where are our video game players, right? Our video game players who like to play video games, you know, it's like in a video game, when it's time for you to engage, something presents itself to you. So that means that once you have a simulated a situation show up, it's triggering you for you to maybe react or to to engage. But it could be a test too, because maybe there were things that you had going on with you that were supposed to be tests to who you are. Maybe you grew, you evolved. So in your evolvement, you now are being tested to see what your response would be to a certain simulated circumstance, right? So it's important for you, if you're in a situation where you're seeing something and it's presented to you first on, it is for you to engage. And be careful trying to ignore things, because that could be the loop in your life. Because if you keep getting a same program going over and over again, it could be different people. Like you could get a program that constantly goes in a reciprocal pattern, and that is because you haven't learned or you haven't done something to make the loop end. It's important for you to confront the boogeyman in your life, because that could be the very thing keeping you at a standstill and disallowing you from getting outside of that loop. Okay? And also stop being predictable. If you're doing things constantly, like what did they say? Madness or craziness is doing something over and over again and expecting a different response or a different result. It's very important for you that if something isn't working in life, and if you're constantly getting the same kind of feedback, it's important for you to change the direction, or maybe switch up something that allows for a different result. It's very important. This is a simulation, but it's also a video game. If you see it as a video game, this is actually quite fun, because then you can basically take full command that everything in here. And then when you get to a certain point, there are points in video games when you gain these tools because you've earned a certain level. So when you've kind of overcome a level, or you've gone past a certain point where you're in another stage of the video game, you'll get times when you've been able to accrue certain types of tools or things that will help you on the next stage of the video game. So then all of a sudden you get all these access to, like, I don't know, like all these herbs, like maybe you get all these new tinctures, you have maybe some fiat or abundance comes to you, and now you have access to live somewhere that's more tropical. Maybe it was important for you in that first part of the video game to experience geographical differences, bombardment of your body, that was to allow you to learn about your body and know that maybe that type of terrain isn't good for you. So you were living somewhere that was challenging your biological directive to alert you to knowing that you need a change of environment that's more cohesive for you. So then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, this isn't right for me. I realize that, oh, I should be living somewhere by the beach. Maybe I need to get more of that ionic energy. Maybe I need more of that healthy lung, something to heal my lungs, which lungs has to do with like dealing with loss, and dealing with forms of like when you're mourning, like someone who's lost someone. So maybe you need to clear. So maybe going to the beach and living somewhere. So then all of a sudden you get this offer from a job like, hey, Fleur, Brun, we have this amazing new position. Only you can do it. You were highly recommended. We'll pay for your relocation and everything. You know what? You could just come and start next week. Then that's the abundance, because now you've overcome something. Now you've maybe became aware of something, and now the video game will give you a placement to go outside to do the healing. So now you have these new tools and this new arena, and now you're going to be there. Same when you're on the beach. Maybe it's meant for you to go somewhere in the forest. Maybe it's meant for you to go somewhere in highland or lowland. Maybe it's meant for you to go somewhere you meet another character in the NPC that's going to teach you something about yourself. It's very important for you to pay attention to the directives that happen in the video game. If you take this life as a video game, whether you accept my position of saying that this is a holographic experience or not, doesn't matter. Life in itself is like a video game. So knowing the rules and knowing the perks of being self-aware is always the bomb.com. Now know that the simulation is about to go buck wild. We're going in this so-called religious, this holy war, which has happened every single world war. It is a program. Okay, so you already know what happens in this program. You already know. You can go and read history books and already know what's coming right now. Try to disengage. Try to make sure you aren't getting involved with any side. Have a level of compassion and keep it moving. Okay, and also because we're going into the dragon year, which is the Asian dragon year, the earth dragon. Remember, the concept of the serpent is coming the year after. We're going to go through this Kundalini rising. So because we have the twin energy, you shouldn't be surprised that relationships are going to break up if they haven't already. So what happened? I shouldn't say break up, right? And it's just what I think will happen. So take this with a grain of salt. It's just my knowing. Is that next year in 2024, which is an 8, which is the serpent, it's that Kundalini energy, right? It's like this, right? It's the 8. It's the infinity, right? That brings with it an energy of merging with the one you started in the simulation with. If you are one of the 144 and you came into the simulation, you came in with partners. Now we did the whole 12 times 12 is 144. Big up to M and Alex, who we were going off ham on the last Zoom. That's the 12 times 12, and it's 12 teams. That's why there's 12 tribes. That's why there's 12 hours. Everything is about the 12s because it's literally the different teams. And that's why they talk about the 12 tribes of Sheba, the 12 tribes of Judah. Those are all the different teams that came out into the simulation, and they broke out in different teams. And what happens in those different teams is that they went 2s and 2s. So there's like there's like six. That's why it's, see, as soon as I look at, wow, hold on. there's 6 times 2. So it's 6 sets of 2s, right? Yeah, 6 sets of 2s. Just get with me here. It's in my phone. So we have the 12 tribes. Those are the 12 tribes, but they're actually 12 groups. This is all my just overstanding, y'all. So just stay with me right now. So there's 12 sets, and those are the ones who came out into the simulation from the ship, Nibiru. There are other ships. Nibiru isn't the only one. Personally, I know that Nibiru is the real Earth. The Earth that has been created here is a simulation. It's been terraformed to look like Nibiru. This whole terraformed Earth that we live in, this is all Earth. Jupiter is Nibiru. Jupiter, that's why we're talking about the Jews. The Jews are Jupiter, okay? The Jews worship Saturn, right? The rings of Saturn. Okay, so Jupiter, the Jews, which, represented, actually, that's my planet. I'm a triple Sag, which is Jupiter is my planet, the most expansive planet. Jupiter is also Nibiru. It's one and the same. Now, you don't have to accept this. This is what I know. You can also give your opinion at the end of the video. I would love to hear what you know. And once we came into the simulation from our pods, and I just woke up in the pods. Some of you know about it. Big up to the zombies, the weirbies, where I talked about waking up in the pod. I just woke up in the pod last week. The same day that Brother Panic, they announced him transitioning, even though I know he had transitioned before, the same day is when I had woke up in the pod. And I'll talk about that on another video. Or tonight on Zoom, we'll talk about it again. I think you guys already know. But on Nibiru, we were put in our pods, and it's two, what is it? 12. It's 12. It's 12 sets of 12. So it's 144. We were put in pods, and when we got out of our pods into this projected reality, when we projected ourselves into biological entities here in the simulation, we went out with our group. So we have 12 groups. That's why they talk about the 12 tribes spread all over the earth. It's a simulation. So we're spread all over because we were going here to engage for whatever reasons. Okay. And now as we're going back to 0 point, we're coming back and we're meeting our twins. It's not your twins, it's your partner. It's your partners you came out into the simulation with. So right now, during this whole year, next year, you're literally going to meet your partner that you came into the simulation with. That's that whole twinning energy. It's not really twins, it's your partner who you came in with. So you shouldn't be surprised that your relationships, if you're in one and it isn't the person you came in here with, it might end. That's just my personal opinion. It's probably going to end that relationship because you're supposed to get back with your partners. The 12 tribes, the Shiva, the whole 12, everything, the 12, because we got to get back to the 13th. The 13th is the 0 point, is the zenith. Okay, so we have to get back. So you're going to meet your partners that you entered into the game with, the simulation with. So don't be shocked that next year, because I think, well, I think that the simulation ends in 2025 is the pole shift. That's my personal opinion. Okay. And you can kind of see it with as fast as they're doing things in a simulation. So you meet your partner next year because it's an 8. Because it's the Kundalini. It's kind of like the Kundalini rising is just you coming back into your full mind, waking up out of the simulation. Okay. So next year is 2024. It's the year of the dragon. It's the year of the earth dragon. So it's probably that emerald energy. Big up to Brother Panic, who talked about, the Emerald City. We always talk about the Emerald City. And when we look at the yellow grid road, the yellow grid is what surrounds us in this hologram. If you could see it, you can usually see it. Like when you wake up, you'll see the yellow grid. It looks like a honeycomb. And then you're supposed to follow that to the Emerald City. So the first green dragon, big up to no one who came in, it will show up next year. So you most likely will see your twin. And your twin isn't what you think it is. It's literally an opposite equal end of you. So if you represent, and that's why they're trying to, as soon as I talk about twin flames, it's crazy. As soon as I talk about twins, it shows up. You hear us? Okay, let me take a break. Okay, hold on. And that's why, pods, fish swim in pods. People ask me where the pods are underneath the water. We're underneath Antarctica right now. We're sleeping in these pods, a yellow submarine. Big up to the one who shared a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine by the Beatles. Thank you for that. And the Beatles sang that song. Big up to Brother Panic, who brought up Beetlejuice, y'all. Beetlejuice implodes. That's when the pole shift, that's when the reset happens. That's also the yellow submarine. We're under it in the pods. We're sleeping in these pods. And then we wake up in the Bureau, which is the real Earth, which is Jupiter. Okay, hold on. Let me take a break. Please put a like on the video if you're up for the shenanigans today. We all live in a yellow submarine, Watch the video. Thank you to the Seesaw who shared it with me. I forgot about the video. I never really watched it. But if you watch the Beatles video, y'all, in the yellow submarine, y'all, talk about the simulation reveal. Holy cow. Anyway, and why is it holy cow? Okay? I might have to. How? You hear them? Okay. But it's so quiet. You can hear everyone talking outside. They are. You should. Okay. Okay. So, we're living in pods. We're being taken care of. And when I woke up on the ship, should I do a video separate to that? When I woke up again I woke up on Nibiru again. I talk about waking up on the ship. I'm always getting up on the ship, but I woke up on a ship and I saw my mate. And also, maybe I should share this with you. Do you guys want me to share this with you? It's up to you. You want me to share it? Because I don't want to diverge. Is it okay if I share it? Put a 13 if you want me to share it, because I don't have to. Okay. Okay. I was saying to another sea star that I said, you know, I have a specific type that I like. I've always liked a certain type, and I didn't know why. Like, it was a type, and you always think you type is started, maybe you typecast. You know, there's a typecast that people have. So I had a type, and I always think, why did I like this certain type? So when I woke up on Nibiru, the ship, in my pod, in my room, my mate was sleeping next to my pod to protect my pod, because on the ship, on the west wing of the ship, there was a flood. So one of the people who's head of I assume they take care of a lot of the things on the ship. They were talking. Well, okay. Let me slow down, because I'm telling you how I woke up on a pod. And this is like because sometimes I go off topic a little bit. So let me go here. I woke up on a ship on Nibiru. Again, many of you know I wake up sometimes on there. Sometimes it's because something I do here triggers me to wake up in my pod. So I woke up and my mate was sleeping next to my pod. And what's crazy about it, y'all? The reason why I have a typecast here in the simulation is because my mate is the progenitor of all the types I make in the simulation. So all of the males that I'm attracted to in the simulation, it's because of him. So I created, and remember all back in the days when the sea stars used to say to you, they had a spiritual, like they had a ghost husband, and he wasn't allowing them to have like a mate here because they had a marriage over there. I kind of understand why they thought that, but it was deeper. It's because outside of the simulation, we have partnerships and marriages or relationships. And when we have them, we basically project them into this simulation reality to keep to connect to them. So it's like odd, because when I woke up, he was sleeping next to my pod to make sure my pod was safe. And he is why all the males in this reality, in this hologram, look like him, because I love this person, this being outside of here, and everything I project in here is him. It's so interesting. So I woke up and